Hello. We gotta go through this kit and fix a couple things first. Because it's older, set around somebody's garage or something. So some of the parts are mildly damaged. Ah, come here, you. Loosely based on the trumpeter kit, from what I understand. Minor improvements made to it. What they are, I don't know. So there's that. That fell off the trees. Lower hull. There's that as well. So I've got to re-glue that onto here. That's the coaxial MG. I really hope there's no parts missing. I think I'm gonna have trouble with one part, and that is the commander's hatch swing arm. Yeah, because that's broken. Right in there. I might be able to make that out of sheet plastic, though. And to go with it, give me a second just to be sure. Need that. Those are engine parts I won't need. I got this cheap, and when I bought it, I knew I was getting something that had been tossed around for a little while. So I was under no impression of it being perfect. So I bought a set of figures for the crew, because I noticed in my books that that's supposed to be in 2003. The early to mid 90s, when the single color tank crew uniforms started becoming more common. We could still paint them up with camouflage if we wanted to, but they were starting to become commonplace. So that's kind of what we're going for. No external APU or anything like that. So right now we're going to fix some things, and we're going to try and build this sucker pretty darn quick. Came with a resin engine, which is admirable, but there's too much missing in here to make it worthwhile. So I'm just going to build it without it. We will put the interior in it, though, in terms of the driver's compartment and the turret. And that's all right here. Check some things on the destructions. Let's see if I can kind of glue these in place to put them right. I can. Okay. How you doing, man? Yeah, this morning was rough for me. I sat up out of bed and every single muscle in my back just kind of... It's one thing to have a muscle spasm where it just hurts, but when you can feel them wiggling around like snakes under your skin... That. I need this. Get this lower hull assembled. I also got my LAV engine from Black Dog. I wanted to work on the AAV a bit more today, but it needed more time to dry. I got the upper and lower hull glued together.
Good, just finished lunch and now assembling last bits before I start painting. Yes,
Oof.
I turned the wrong way, walking dog hip is sore today.
I can sympathize with that. So yeah, it has me wait until... Yeah, I got mine from an online store on eBay that I buy a lot of it from. Just reliable shipping. They're located in the US, so I don't get any of that BS. And it was the most affordable one on mine. So that stays, that goes. So the figure of the farmer, I might convert to, or the shepherd, farmer, whatever you want to put it. I might convert to looking more like a Bosnian farmer. It wouldn't be hard. There we go. Well, when every place else is selling that Black Dog set. Oh yeah. I've had some mornings where I wake up with Batman neck dragon. And welcome in. Let me know if anything's too loud music-wise. I know its volume has been kind of odd lately. But the main reason I picked this kit is it's not terribly incorrect. It is abundant. And the Dragon M1A1 AIM would probably be a little too new in terms of different features on it. So this one does nicely. It doesn't have to be a perfectly accurate model all the time with the latest and greatest gear. Maybe I should title this one Turd Polishing.
Given it back when I got out.
I share that sentiment. Sometimes I wonder if I enlisted with some unknown issues. That were just made worse by my time in the Air Force. Because there were times when I was younger, even in high school, I'd walk around and I get that, you know, sharp stabbing pain kind of like under my shoulder blade. And everyone's like, oh, you're just growing, it's puberty, it's this and that. I still have them now. Like the same exact kind of pain where it feels like someone's got a screwdriver up under your shoulder blade.
Good evening, sir.
Hey George, how you doing?
At Dragon Works said, hey, I've been using the term third polishing regarding models for 30 years.
You see, I don't consider all models turds in that regard. That's the thing. Most people search up the Italeri or even the Trumpeter M1A1, right? It really isn't a terrible kit. Dimensionally, it's pretty much on point. There's some minor things wrong with it if you're a real stickler, but overall, it's a respectable model. It really isn't terrible at all. There are people who will react to this thing like it's the fucking Antichrist coming for your child. And it's like, wow. I just think it's funny. This is actually quite a decent kit for late 90s vintage. Late 90s, early 2000s. So you have to wonder, because I remember buying this kit in 2003, and it had probably already been sitting in the hobby shop for a year, so 2002. And people like to say this is a clone of the Trumpeter kit. I think the Trumpeter kit's a clone of this. That's what my Back to Basics build series is going to be. Using at least 2 of the Trumpeter LAVs, because they're good kits out of the box. They don't need a lot of work, but they do have a lot of the kind of problems beginners would encounter. I'm going to do one, just the basic out-of-the-box build, out-of-the-box figure painting, and just your standard display base to give context to the model, right? Not contest, context. So if you have dirt on the wheels and things like that, you know why the dirt is there. And the next one is going to involve adding resin aftermarket, which that's the Black Dog set I just got today. And doing a more involved scene with a few more figures. Because this time it'll be the LAVM, which has more of an interior. And it has just more room to show things off. Why am I doing that? Come on. And then we'll go from there. Now you really want to talk about polishing a turd. I have the Revell Monogram P61 Black Widow. They can, because while they get a lot right in terms of dimensions and gross detail, they consistently fail at getting fine detail. But that could also be argued as nitpicking. Tamiya kits out of the box are functionally buildable. You can improve any kit, right? When I talk about turd polishing, I'm talking about taking the old Frog HE219 kit in 72nd scale and making it look as good as the Dragon kit in 72nd scale. That's turd polishing. Go, just making sure all my spacing's good. We'll worry about the barn doors and other things later after we get the rest of the model assembled. Alright, now to the idler arms. Because one's broken and needs to be fixed. I think that one will go there. Yeah.
At Dragon_works said, oh god, the P61. It's okay if you get a kit closer to first run, but the newer the release, the worse the kit issues are.
Oh, I know. You're preaching to the choir on that one. Do not speak of me, the old magics. I was there when they were written.
29 said, is this going to be a UN white vehicle builder?
As far as I'm aware, no N1 and no M1 Abrams ever wore that bastardized color scheme that the UN so proudly emblazons on their vehicles. So no, this will not be wearing UN junk. There we go, getting you lined back up there since you were broken out of the box. Works for me.
DL4CK Lion said, hello Froggy, 102 waves.
Hey Black Lion, how you doing? I'd have to go through my books, but very few of the frontline tanks actually wore white UN paint. M113s did, other things like that, but no actual MBT has.
Dragon_works said some of those early Dragon kits are pretty wonky too, as they're just recops of the old gun Sanyo kits. DL4CK Lion asks, all good. How's 2026 treating you?
Well, it's only been 5 days, so I don't know yet. I'm still waiting to blink, and it'll be the middle of July, as you know, last year so proudly was. Alright, since this has Lincoln length track, we're gonna do things a bit weird. Where did those... There they are.
At Dragon_works said, minus the fun multimedia parts of course.
Well, you have to wonder at the time what made those guns kits worth $300 fucking dollars. That's what I remember seeing them for in Squadron anyway. But to be fair, at the time, even the most wonky Dragon kit was still better than the best Tamiya kit. That's what forced Tamiya in the the mid to late 90s to start retooling everything to compete.
At Dragon underscore works said truth.
Oh look, I'm pulling the parts off the sprue without using nippers. Oh my god! I gotta clean them up anyway. I just delegitimize myself just by doing this. Everybody hates me for it now. We'll get one side assembled and then do the other.
At Dragon underscore works said blasphemy. Lol.
Oh my god! I didn't use 3 pairs of $75 nippers to cut the sprue and then cut the part from the part and then go back and clean it up with a glass file. Oh no. Warning. This channel will take all your preconceived notions of good model building and throw them out the window. If you want to see fun model building, go watch Boxman assemble a ship. He'll insult your sensibilities a little less.
My eyes. I can't watch rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
I would have been on earlier, I just had to wait for the disgusting amounts of ibuprofen I had to take to get into my system and finally start working. Then after that I had to wait for the sneezing attacks to stop. Nah, model student, you can watch. It's more like a bad train wreck. You know, you can't not watch. You've got to keep looking. Witness the carnage. Speak about it. Blog about it. Because if you don't, who will?
At Dragon underscore works said I just got a Tamaya Panther D and a Stug IID. Allegedly they're 100 times better than previous Tamaya armor kits.
Now, Dragonworks, you're gonna hate this. You should try the Dragon Panther D. That is like filet mignon compared to a double quarter pounder. Both are good, but damn. And that's the thing, I think it was Model Student was bringing it up yesterday. Or somebody else was, maybe George. I forget exactly who. Tamiya kits are boring because they're engineered so nicely. Sometimes you just want a kit you can kind of sink your teeth into and use skills, you know? I'm not talking anything crazy, but just something that allows you to open the lid to your skill box a little bit.
Model Student 20 said you're all hopped up. Hence the complete disregard for proper nipping protocol, rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
The only nipping protocol I like. I'm not hopped up on anything, really. I've just taken ibuprofen. That's it. But when all is said and done, I want this to be something people can look at and go, I wonder whose kit that is, without aftermarket, aside from what came with it. Because it's got some resin pieces, came with it out of the box, for a driver's compartment and partial turret interior.
Model Student 20 said shake and bake kits are challenging enough for me. Grinning face with sweat emoji.
He says that while he you know, almost constantly builds Trumpeter, which are the furthest thing from shake and bake. Ah! And AFV Club has released a new Humvee kit. New tool from the ground up. So depending on which ones they start to make, we might be getting some of those in.
At Dragon_Works said I can't take ibuprofen anymore.
Oof.
I had a near-death incident that cost me large chunks of my GI tract.
I don't take it that often. So it's not like other vets where, you know, they're taking 2 800 milligram horse pills every day. At most, and I learned this long ago, at most I'll take 600 at a time. And that's on the worst days. Usually it's 400. And that's once a day. Maybe 2-3 times a month. Like, I eat a lot of pain before I take painkillers. If I'm taking painkillers, you know I'm having a rough day. Outside of that, I usually just grin and bear it. So what I'm doing is I'm getting all my road wheels, idler, and sprocket together. Ah! And we're going to loosely put them on their idler arms and their swing arms. Then we're going to glue the track to them to make complete track assemblies that I can paint separately. Did it have a lot of stuff added to it, Model Student? Like resin, photo etch, and all that?
Student 20 said me too, I don't rely on those either.
I try not to. I have to take Tylenol at night to get to sleep. But again, as long as you stay below the daily amount, you're generally okay. Because ibuprofen, like you were saying, that'll rip your stomach to shreds.
But I have a Tamaya, red tea, Humvee with the 25mm Bushmaster turret. I got a metal barrel with a 25mm in red.
Believe it or not, with the resin wheels, that is probably the most accurate Tamiya kit out of the box. And that's mainly because it's using an Italeri chassis. So the fact that it doesn't have the dimples under the doors is actually correct for it. The only thing that would determine whether you want to use a 4 or a 3-hole bumper is the paint job.
At the Model Student 20 said no scratch-filled doors and cockpit canopy rescribed and riveted. It was a real gem.
So you really don't have to work on older kits a lot to bring them up to standard. And it all really depends on how much you feel the effort is worth it to you. Are you talking to me or model student? You said it was a, yeah, what Hobbycraft 72nd scale kit was it?
At the model student 20 said Hobbycraft thinks their shit to start.
Not always, because Hobbycraft used to be the US distributor for Academy and Minicraft. And they distributed a lot of the earlier trumpeter molds. I remember back in the 80s, you know, you get the Hobbycraft Hughes 500 helicopter.
Said, have you ever seen the 172nd F89C series? They're gorgeous.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's a good kit.
At the model student 20 said, kinda think I have footage of it on my channel.
The main thing that really gets me is when model channels will intentionally get a 40, 50-year-old kit, which, you know, there's nothing fundamentally wrong with it. Like, you can buy it and build it straight out of the box, no gaps, no fit issues, no nothing. Just the fact that it's 50 years old, and it's obviously not up to today's standards, and they'll shit on it. I can't stand that trend that's still happening. Like this kit. This kit's 26 years old. And until the Dragon M1A1 AIM series came up, which is still regarded as the best Abrams kit on the market regardless of Ryfield model and what they're doing, this kit was considered one of the best ones. But now you look at it and people will shit on it because it's not the Dragon kit. Doesn't have to be. Now what I'm about to attempt on this, I used to do on my 72nd scale armor all the time. It makes painting the road wheels a bit of a bitch.
Student 20 said, I have a Glencoe 148 15 -1 convert A plane that looks like it will be fun. At Dragon
I heard the
Underscore
converter
said,
plane was
I
pretty
picked up
good.
one of those F89C kits for the honor build of my dad's Air National Guard unit. I'm building the 172nd and 172nd. At the model student 20 said it must be 60 years old.
Yeah, Glencoe kits are usually reissues of very old molds. At the same time, they're not. I wouldn't say they're terrible, but if you're buying them, you have to remember they are old kits. Just like Atlantis models, how they're repopping everybody's old stuff. You got to go into it with the mindset. These are retro companies. They are not top of the line, new tool, CAD design, blueprint spec models. They're the models that our fathers were building, you know, in the 50s and 60s.
Model student 20 said still in plastic wrap.
Like one kit I'm going to start looking into is the 90mm anti-aircraft skysweeper system, because I have a Renwall one. My father built it, he passed it on to me, and I'm going to try restoring it. But I really need to start looking into it for bits and pieces, because there's some missing. I might have to scratch build it, I might have to print it, it depends.
At Dragon Underscore Works said the physically oldest kit is the Death Valley Days 20 Mule Team wagon in the original 1959 shipping box from Borat.
I remember that kit. I've actually seen it. And wasn't somebody repopping that for a while? I thought somebody else had the molds to that and they'd reproduced it.
Dragon underscore works said oldest in my stash.
I don't know what the oldest in my stash is. I buy kits to build them. I know the most sought after in my stash is the Cygnus, but it's built. And it's getting a reissue this year, we hope. If not, next year. Vincent's due out anytime now. Eh. Come on, go to your holes. I'm glad these have a pretty solid connection, which means I can do that and they won't fall off too easily. Because once they're on, I want to be able to set it on its side to install the track. And I'm not too worried about being able to paint everything easily. Because everything I've seen on these in Bosnia, they were mud hogs. They lived in the mud. They were never clean. Ah, come on, you. There you go. Yeah, the Cygnus and Maximilian and Vincent have never been repopped since 1981. They are getting repopped this year. Vincent's already doing the rounds on the usual channels that get their stuff early from round 2. Maximilian should be around mid-year. Hopefully the Cygnus will be by Christmas. And even though I already have one built, it's right there. You know, you can barely see it. So yeah, it's right there in that cabinet. I want to do one again, lit. Couldn't light that one because it came in solid silver plastic. Yeah, you see, that's one thing I never got. Like, I love model building, don't get me wrong, as you can tell. But those out there that have these 900,000 kit collections, and it's like, you gotta be able to buy all these, or build all these? And I'm not trying to be sarcastic about it, but sometimes it feels like you gotta be. But it's like, you know, okay, these I'm gonna have to glue to the hull and leave separate. Fuck. It just does not want to fit in there easily. I'd risk damaging what I'm gonna be doing just to remove it. I mean, we all have our hobbies, we all have our collections, I get that. Absolutely nothing wrong there. But it's like, you plan on building them? I mean, even at a kit a day, if I had 1,000 kits, I don't think there's enough time left in my life to do it. And that's more for, like, the people out there that when a new kit comes out, they have to buy 20 copies of it, and it's like,
Stream Elements said
Looks like
Ratpack
love at first
underscore
sight.
Norway
Rat Pack
said
Norway,
just
thank you for the resub. How you been?
Ropog Champ. Ratpack underscore Norway just subscribed at tier 1 for 33 months. They have been
Every little
subscribed
helps.
for 33 months.
If you're on the Twitch side, you don't have to, but subbing there definitely helps the channel out.
Ratpack Norway said just got home. Been at my sister since Christmas.
Were you snowed in or just hanging out?
Ratpack underscore Norway said, and my PC have hated being shut down all this time. At Dragon underscore works said my plan was to build them with my kids, but my youngest has decided she doesn't like models anymore.
Yeah,
Ratpack underscore Norway said fans are making lots of noise.
I started.
Looks like love at first
But the
sight.
model student
Fenrir Media, thank you for the resub. How you doing?
I planned ahead accumulating kits to keep me going for a good decade. Rolling on the floor laughing emojis.
45 Fahrenheit in your living room? Good lord. Well, for a Norwegian, that would be comfy. Thank you for that. I'm waiting for the thing to get caught up.
It's quite warm in my living room. Comfy 45F. Ratpack underscore Norway said cheeky smiley face. At Dragon underscore works said so. I'm selling or trading everything I know I'm never going to build. Fenrir underscore media.
Reference material for what? Like job references or?
Ratpack underscore Norway said that I had a blast of a Christmas, that's for sure. Yes, I can't wait to XD.
Okay, so I need 2C.
At Dragon underscore works said model student, same here.
Yeah, lately I've just been getting stuff, one, to keep the channel interesting, and two, because it interests me on more than just a surface level.
Said IT risk management and federal regulatory requirements.
Oofta.
At the model student 20 said, good God Ratpack, I'd be froze solid, my heat is cranked.
And he's a Canadian Rat Pack, so that's saying something. So we need 4C. And a 3C.
Stream Elements said, check out my previous work on my Instagram app.
But, like, I see those guys that every time a new company comes out with another BF-109G, and they buy it, and it's like, well, you haven't bought in any of the other 20 you bought last year. It's like, have you finished a single one? And I'm more for, you know, let's build some shit here. Let's not just stockpile our closets and puff our chests out of it. Let's put some shit together, you know? Because when your spouse has to resell it, she's not reselling it at the $60 price you bought it for. She's reselling it at the $5 price to get it out of the house. And that's if she's able to sell them. Alright. So one mistake to avoid when dealing with any kind of individual or Lincoln-length tracks.
At Dragon underscore works said me too. I'm afraid Snap, Crackle and Pop are gonna sue me for copyright infringement.
Oh, they're already after me. when you're doing link and length tracks, be mindful of the gap that pre-exists in the tracks and try and match that, or else you're going to be too short when you go to do the final links. Okay, there's that. There's that. So this worked really well on 72nd scale. I want to see if I can get it to work here. Okay, so I need 5C, 3C, and 5C. The ICM 35th scale, what now? I don't know if that was a mistranslation of something, or... T-A-H-E? But that's just it. That's, like I said, that's what I'm mostly about. I'm not about, look at this bougie, time-consuming 30-layer paint process that you're not going to notice. You know, we were talking about that yesterday. I'm about, okay, it's going to get muddy. Who cares about how many layers of modeling and patching and fading I put underneath? It's going to get covered by mud. So I'm not going to worry about that. You know, I just want to build them. I could give a crap less about all these time-wasting techniques. Black primer, throw it out the window. You want to prime your model, prime it in gray. If you want to be somewhat correct, prime it in red-brown. Black primer will cause you to waste more paint trying to paint it than it does to help you even, you know, anything. I cannot stand that trend lately. And I know it's mostly because all the brands out there are shoving out black primer. So everybody thinks I have to use it. Oh. Is that the Sky Crane? The one that, Max is building?
At George Davis 7629 said, why not black primer?
Good question. Say I paint this turret black, right?
At George Davis 7629 said, I have NATO black primer.
Say I paint this turret black.
Model student 20 said, yes sir.
And I want to paint a sand Abrams. How much more sand paint do I have to use to cover over that dark black paint than if I had primed it with something like Mr. Surfacer, or something like, I don't know, Light Ghost Gray by Vallejo, which is also one of their polyurethane primer paints. The black primer causes you to have to use more paint to cover it up, and provides a much inferior finish than if you just used regular primer and gone over it with the appropriate amount of color. You're using more resources to cover over that black paint than if you had just done it by a more traditional means. You're doing a, say I'm doing this Abrams in NATO green, right? You say you have NATO black primer. That's great. You still got to use more paint to cover it. Who said white primer? Who said white primer? Gray.
At the model student 20 said, I only primed in black. You
Believe it or not, pre-priming in light gray also makes the pre-shading easier. Because you can go through, I'm trying to find my bottle of the light ghost gray. There it is, I think. No. But look at that. NATO green. What's that big letters on the bottle? All these channels that show you doing that are really misinforming you. Primers come in many shades, many colors. Pre-shading is best done with a light gray primer or light gray color as your base, and then you go back with black and pre-shade the panel lines. No, there's tons out there now. I just couldn't find my other one that I wanted to show you. Where the hell did it go? Or did I look at it already? That's dark. Oh yeah, right there. But the use of a black primer, especially if you're doing a lighter color finish, is so disgustingly wrong. This is just a kit. It's the old Italy Abrams from the early 2000s. Not a terrible kit. Nice. Oh, that is, that's a Frame Arms girl. I built her a few streams ago. So I need 1, 2, 3, 7. I'm gonna do this. Yep, that is just a simple Kotobukiya Frame Arms Girl kit.
Norway said I've been on a bad internet ever since the 20th of December.
You.
More than play phone games, cheeky smiley face. Norway said so didn't watch any streams.
In a way, though, sometimes unplugging like that isn't a bad thing. Wow. Brand new X-Acto blade. I'm just cutting parts off this sprue. Look at the tip. They never used to do that. What the fuck? But really the only reason I'm working on this today is I want to let the M60 and the AAV have a full 24-hour dry time on all I've done to them before I work on them again.
Works said I'm repainting the Atlantis, Sonora.
you
got
go.
badly stuck down to bare plastic, so I'm redoing it for my youngest. As a model student 20 could only use bespoke display knife blades, $29.
There's that word again. Bespoke. Bespoke. How do you know your model supply parts are going to be mid? Everybody's raging about them suddenly for no reason. And they've been given a name that most people can't say correctly anyway. Oh my, however did we build these things before all these things came along? But that whole black primer thing is the one thing where I will say that everybody who's doing it is doing it wrong. I don't give a damn who you are. Or do I have to start work on my 70-second scale 15E early and show it?
I buy X-Acto blades by the 100 box for $20 to $25 per box.
I did that once, half of them rusted out before I could get to them.
As George Davis 7629 said, cheers for the pointer builder.
Which pointer? But yeah, if you want to pre-shade, literally pre-shade, not pre-nighttime the entire thing. The way pre-shading works is the panel lines are highlighted by the black line, and you're filling in the color to a certain opacity, relying on the brightness of the underlying gray and the depth of the black paint on the panel lines to create that shaded effect.
At Production said he probably means all of them.
Possibly. By painting the entire model black, you eliminate any valuable shading that you could have obtained by causing your surface to be one constant interrupted tone, which counteracts the effect you're going for by pre-shading. I hope that makes more sense than what you've been seeing with, okay, paint the model black, set my airbrush to the smallest setting, you know, the content filler setting, I call it, and continue to scribble little patches all over the model. Okay. Most people don't have that much time in their day to do that. I don't know where my join is on that. I think it's that one. Yeah, this is the only thing I don't like about link and length tracks. Even individual link will do this.
CSA Sniper 43 said hi all.
Hey Sniper, you see how the end links are doing this? That's not right. They should be laying flat within this area right here. There are ways to fix it. My way is just going to be I'm going to cover it in mud. How you doing, Sniper? But I really wish people would...
Do you plan on doing any more Moshin and Krieger kits?
Soon I might. I've got a Heinrich to finish up. It had fallen off the shelf and I lost one of the parts, the little... looks like the night vision sensor for the top of it. But, when I was looking for the mantlet lift piece for the TACOM M60 that decided to go flying, I found it instead, so now I can press back on that. And I might find a way to combine it with the Oscar, since they're both 1/20th scale. But I really wish that people would read into and look into techniques before trying to mimic what they see on reels and shorts. Because the more I see of that stuff, the more wasteful material I see. 3C. When it comes to painting and all that, it's... I don't know how to describe it.
At the model suite of 20 said mod, okay. Stuff is a lot of fun paint and weathering wire.
It can be, if you're willing to break convention on it. But like the other day, I saw somebody doing a model, and it was a Humvee, okay? It was one of those post-apocalyptic dioramas where it's crossing a river and towing a trailer and all that wonderful stuff. I knew that was going to happen. And I had to stop myself from commenting because I'm sitting there thinking, okay, he's got it all rusty, Humvees don't rust. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna shut my mouth now. Because 9 times out of 10 people don't care.
I've been going nuts on mod. Big hits.
Right now, I'm hyper-focused on doing modern military stuff. And to be fair, it seems to be getting the best response on my channel. So I'm going to stick with that for now. Machining Krieger's fine and dandy, but at the same time, it's expensive to get again. And I really don't have the time and energy to be trying to chase down the best deals and finding it. So if I come across one that's got my attention and within my price range, I'll get it. But I'm not currently in the market. Because most of the ones I want to do are now in the 150 and up price range. And not because of some form of elitism on my part, but just the fact that they haven't been re-released and that's where they are. Like, I'd love to build the Hummel, the third variant of the Fledermaus Hornice airframe, but the cheapest one I can find is like $150 on eBay. let me look real quick.
At Dragon_Works said I do everything hand painted except for primer because I don't have anywhere to airbrush.
I have an airbrush tent set up for when I do like really, really, you know, big stuff. We might have to switch to something else while this dries for a little bit, because I can't glue it to the upper return rollers. Okay. So yeah, the only Hummels on eBay right now are 200 bucks with a $60 delivery fee. I ain't touching that shit. Let's see how much it went for at Hobby Link Japan new. Because it's the Wave kit. Yeah, HLJ should still list the older listing. Wow. Give me a second. And the thing is, there's people out there that, when these machining Krieger kits come out, they literally buy all of the ones in stock at some places so they can resell them.
Works said if you haven't built a Hasagawa 135th Nutcracker hover tank yet, I highly recommend it.
Oh, I have. It's a good kit. I wish I could get it in 20th scale. So yeah. The Hummel by Wave, when it was new, out of the box, at 1/20th scale, is $36.72 in Hobby Link Japan. Why in the ever-living fuck would I want to pay $209 plus $60 shipping for it? So that's the kind of scalping that goes on in the Machining Krieger universe that I just do not endorse. But it's rare! So's my blood type, but you don't see me charging for it. What next? It's got electrolytes? Sorry if I seem to be on one, but you guys have hit the trigger on that rant section today pretty hard with this. But it's also why I kind of stay out of Machining Krieger a lot now, because the fact that there's so many scalpers and so many people that are pretentious about it.
Humvees don't rust. Even more egregious with the rusty Corvette I saw someone build.
Certain areas on Corvettes can rust because they are steel. But you have to know which areas those are. But yes, Humvees, overall, do not rust. The hood is fiberglass, the body is aluminum. Suspension components will rust, they're steel. But you're not going to have big patches of rust all over the body, no. But yeah, Machine and Krieger and some of the sycophants who put it on a much larger pedestal than it deserves to be on is a really touchy subject. Is it 1/20th scale? Now you see I already have one, and I said that already. It's even in my shorts selection. And so no, I'm not in the market for one. While it is a good kit, I'm really not in the mood to buy another one and build it. I really don't like doing the same kit over. If there's modifications or differences to it, I'll do it. But kind of like the Falk, where the only thing they changed was the gun, no thanks.
Student 20 said I don't have a nutcracker, lol.
Oh, hold on a sec. This is a nut rocker.
At Dragon_Works asks model student 11.
This is 35th scale. Now I'm going to be blunt right now. My channel isn't for selling. If you want to do that, do it through DMs or model forums or places where that's allowed, because I don't need someone coming on here to sell something and causing an issue. I'm not saying that's what you're intending to do, but I've seen it happen other places. I don't want that reflecting on my channel or myself through any involvement, regardless of whether I'm involved in the sale or not.
At the model student 20 said cool.
So this is 35th scale.
At Dragon_Works said builder, lol, that's not scalping. Those are prison rape prices.
This is the Oscar. This is 1/20th scale. The nut rocker would easily be 3 times larger than this in 1/20th scale. But I have the Heinrich painted in the same paint scheme, so I might do something kind of connecting these two together. And it also comes with two 35th scale suits. I haven't finished building mine yet, because kind of just lost interest in the whole thing for the moment. The 120th scale stuff interests me more. Probably because there's so much more of it. The 35th scale stuff, they are catching up. But again, the prices are going through the roof already, when they were pretty cheap to begin with. And honestly, that's kind of off-putting. And it makes me not want to participate with the community of Machine and Krieger as a whole. It's like the bearded man bun of the model building world. Italy really got some weird shit going on with the tracks on this one.
As Dragon underscore works said builder, this model will build a Corvette with big rusty holes in the body panels. Frame, bumpers, yes those will rust, but not the body.
I know. I'm familiar with Corvettes. Carillion and otherwise.
At Aris Studio said hi for now.
Hey, Aris.
At Dragon underscore works said builder, sorry, the chat program seems to be lagging.
It's very lagging. Everybody, if you're getting that kind of lag, we ran into this yesterday, some kind of latency on YouTube side. Either refresh, or you can hit the Twitch side up. They have less latency issues. I'm live on both those right now.
At Aris Studio said YouTube is usually slower for some reason.
Probably because of all their algorithms that check for copyright and stuff running in the background. They need to delay it to be able to copyright strike people. Given the news in the world right now, I wouldn't be surprised if they're on full suppression mode for some shit. We're not going to get into said news, I'm just mentioning that given the news in the world. Or did I hit that nail on the head a little too hard? Gotta let that set up for a minute. A little firmer. Tell me that's 2 links wide. That is 2 links wide. Excellent. Link and length can be a godsend or a nightmare. Looks good enough, and it'll look even better underneath a coat of European mud. I'm just going to flood the rest of the areas to make sure we got good connections between track and road wheels. So when I go to pull these off tomorrow, there'll be a nice solid join. Because when I take this off, all these wheels, that sprocket, and the track should come off in one big chunk. We got some extra track here. Now, while I want to do the other side, we're probably going to hold off. We're going to work on the turret interior a little bit, because I just want that shit to dry. You saw how I did this one side? I'm probably going to do the same thing tonight on the other side, just to get it done. Sorry about being blunt about sales. I've seen deals go bad with people that don't know each other well enough, and somehow the forum it happened in gets brought into the mix. So if you do want to do any sales, please don't promote them on here. Talk to each other offline. Because I'm not trying to sell anything. There's a difference between me saying, hey, could you support the channel? And, hey, you too can learn how to do this for $30 if you come into my video seminar. I won't do that. If you want to learn something, let me know. I will set up a model, time and place, and do a stream on it. I know there's some people out there whose model is to charge for classes. I will not do that. I'm here to help you learn, not profit from it in that regard. If somebody is charging you for a class to do model work, to me that's wrong. There's people that might come across this and get angry with me. That's fine too. I'm used to people being angry with me. Get this glued on so I don't lose it. But I will never deliberately hide any of my techniques or knowledge behind a paywall. To me, that's wrong on about 50 different levels. Woohoo! 47 degrees. But that's how to learn how to paint like him, you know? You know, that's... Go ahead, be pissed at me. So, what is it that next level does that I couldn't show you? Just let me know. I'm not kidding. I will piss off every miniature painter out there if I have to. I am honestly done with this, you know, secret squirrel bullshit on different techniques. Alright, so here's some of the resin stuff. The engine I've already put in the box with the AAV. I hope I countersunk the nail. I hope I countersunk the nail so hard I split the wood. And like I said, come at me. And that's one thing I never got about the hobby business since the late early 2000s, so like 2007 to 10, somewhere in there. Everyone's suddenly trying to monetize their shit in that regard. And chances are what they're teaching you was something they read in a book and they're just regurgitating anyway. They're like the model building equivalent of the fat electrician. They're just regurgitating facts that everybody else knows. I saw a video yesterday. It was Fat Electrician and some of his other bearded bros. Yeah. Sitting there, and they're like, nobody knew this. That the Temple of Doom is a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark. Nobody told us this. Pay fucking attention. You learn it in the first 10 minutes of the fucking film. But they're using this fact regurgitation, and it's like, dude, come on. I can regurgitate facts too. But they try and wrap shit and make it look like roses, and no, it's not. I tried watching, like, I don't like search out his stuff. It just shows up on my feed. And it's actually kind of insulting, you know, because it's somebody who's basically watched a couple of Discovery Channel shows, and then they're boiling it down using dumb terms to tell the rest of the world. Nah. It don't work like that. Like, I could go into a literal brain barf diatribe on facts on the Abrams here. I'm not going to. Because generally everybody else here knows about them, or if you want to know about them, just ask, I'll tell you. But I'm not going to voluntarily just start spouting what a quick 5-minute search on Google would do. I could tell you things that I know that I've noticed through my own searchings that I don't recall hearing on the Discovery Channel. But that's because I've been to places like Fort Knox before it got ransacked and sent down to Georgia. Because they had an Abrams sitting outside, as well as the MBT-70, which is what this germinated from. But that's common knowledge. And then right next to the MBT-70 was the T-29, or more commonly known as the T-20 or T-95. And that's the tank the Army lost. But that's also common knowledge. I mean, if you want to fact vomit, I can fact vomit though. Usually when I'm going to bed, I'm surfing for stupid shit, you know? Like Aries and I will lately we've been sending each other reels and shorts where it's got that anime clip of the girl laying down in bed and then it flashes to something stupid happening and then it's just the laugh. Yeah. Give me brainless stuff that'll make me laugh. Not fact vomiters that have somehow made a business out of it. But I think people are catching on too, because a lot of people are beginning to not really care. Like Habitual Line Crosser, when he covers current events, I'll watch the shit out of that because he makes it funny. But he's not out there fact vomiting either. Wow, I made the streambot leave. Guess I ranted too hard. But I'm serious. If you see somebody out there advertising a technique that they're going to try and sell you as far as figure painting, ask me. And I can probably show you a more effective and inexpensive method of doing it. So this is the driver's compartment. We're going to throw all this crap together really quick. Oh, when working with resin, you'll always see people using Dremel tools and shit. No. No. Stuff this small, don't use a Dremel tool. You'll wind up with less skin than resin. Get yourself a set of hand saws, X-Acto hand razor saws. It might take a bit longer, but just slowly score through the base of the part. It allows you to control everything easier.
At the model student 20 said the glow effect you see so cool.
But they're easy. There's like 50 videos out there that you can access for free that teach you and show you how to do it. Which glow effect do you want? The plasma glow? Do you want a light bulb glow? I mean, I've done it. See? And that was one of my first attempts, and that was just a rough attempt. Well, where's another one that I did? Hold on a sec. I know a really effective one that I did. It was a while ago. Where is she? It was back in the days of the black background on my figures and my videos. Right here. Here we go. Boop. Bleep boop.
The busy builder sent a link. At Dragon_works said I used to charge for classes when I was a professional miniature painter in the gaming field.
Yeah, but how long ago was that? Was that before or after the internet? Like if you're sitting in a large group, right, in say a library, and this is in the days before the internet and White Dwarf still hadn't got international like it has now, there's a difference. It feels more predatory these days.
Said now, I just want to teach to make sure what I know isn't lost when I die.
Exactly. I really don't know how much of this we're going to see when everything's together. Because this sits here, right? And then this goes here. But the hatch will be open, the driver will be out, so I want to be sure that I have something there. No, but all this to me boils back to the whole nature of what I'm seeing now. Of you're not painting or building or gluing or filling or doing whatever right unless you're doing it my way using my techniques. Now, I'm not saying my way is the best way, but I'm also not going to charge you to tell you how I do it. And I will also show or try to convey the fact that there are other means. But to be as pretentious as to say the way I'm doing it is the only way to do it is wrong. Like you, I want to see that techniques get taught, not hoarded and collected like some kind of fucking, you know, Mechanicus repertoire of machine learning. Where do you go?
At the model student 20 said that's why I'm never going to be the model professor. Grinning face with sweat emoji.
Exactly. I ain't got time to bleed. No, wait. I'm trying to see where this goes. I think this might be for something in the turret, but I'm not sure. I think it's something for a marine version, but I'm not seeing anything, and this doesn't come with marine version parts. So R2. R4, 1, 5, 3, 6.
At Dragon_works said builder, I love the JLC Microsoft.
No, I was just cautioning against the general want to use power tools for cutting small amounts of resin that I see people do all the time. And honestly, it makes my butthole pucker so hard it sucks in on itself. Because I just know I'm going to get another post an hour later. I cut my thumb off using a burr wheel on a Dremel tool to get these little bits of resin off. How's the song go? You're a dumbass. You're a dumbass. You know. Grade A. Or is that a bit too harsh? Yeah, I don't know where part R2 goes. It doesn't show anywhere. I'll keep an eye out. That's one of the engine exhausts. I need that. This is the driver's compartment. That can go up there for the moment. Turret side, turret back. Part of the gunner's stuff. Am I missing a piece? There, come here, you.
At Dragon underscore works said that was at 30 years ago, when my classes were very small, 2 to 5 students at one time.
Oh, I got a double of a part when I didn't need it. Okay. Depending on how much of that's visible, we might be scratch building something. Let me see here. That's the commander. I need to look around a bit, because I don't know if I'm missing a piece or if it's just lost in the desk clutter. Because I've got R15, which goes right here, but I don't have R16. Because this goes here. You know what, let's get everything else installed first, then we'll scour. Because it could be my own stupidity, I put something else where it shouldn't have been. Like I said though, I did buy it used. Yeah, it's the wall in front of the commander's station that's missing.
Jeff's Amazing Train World says, hey, howdy everyone.
Hey Jeff, how you doing? Yeah, 30 years ago, like I said, Dragon, it was a different world, different time. And yeah, classes like that were almost a necessity to teach people about painting anything. So your time had value. But nowadays, with the amount of tutorials and things like that out there, it seems very, like I said, it feels predatory to charge for services like that, given how much of it is out there if you look. We're doing alright here.
Dragon underscore works said, welcome Jeff. At Jeff's Amazing Train World said, hi the model student. At Jeff's Amazing Train World said, hi Dragon. Jeff's Amazing Train World said, hey, models these days are not cheap.
No, what we're talking about so much isn't the models, but certain people who charge for information and techniques and classes on how to do
Model
things.
Student 20 said I wouldn't assume to tutor anything yet. I just show what a new modeler is
Yeah.
going to learn as she progresses.
But people who charge for things which are honestly out there for free if one were to look.
At Jeff's Amazing Framework said I end up at Hobby Lobby because Hop stores closed around here.
And it's that predatory, I have the knowledge, you don't
Model Student 20 said
thing.
I know they can be quite pricey.
Yeah, we just figured out this kit might be missing a piece too, but I'm not worrying about it just yet. I may not worry about it at all because it's the commander side of stuff. And it goes way the hell up here in front of the doghouse. And to even see that,
Not too harsh. Darwin Awards exist for a reason.
to even see that,
At the
I
Model
would
Student
really have to
20
have
said I'm going to
an
sell
angle on
discrete
this.
oil pads and wash dispensers.
If you do that, I will put Amazon links to vinyl, vinyl butter top lids. I will spam that shit.
At Jeff's Amazing Framework said that's YouTube. I don't charge anything on my channel and I will never do that. It's free, and if I help someone well, far's even better.
Yep. And that's the way I look at it too. We're just talking about other genres in the hobby and things like that where individuals feel that they're of such eminence that they must charge a fee. And it's like, no, sorry. And like I said, I know I probably piss a lot of people off by saying that, and come at me.
At Jeff's Amazing Framework said there's you Rob the Builder. I watch all the time, love it, the great program.
Well, I'm not Rob the Builder, I'm just the Busy Builder. Name chosen because it seems like I never have enough time, and that I'm always working on something different, so...
The Model Student 20 said I'm an old punk rocker. You don't follow trends or instructions for that matter. Rolling on the floor, laughing and raging.
Maybe that's what it is. I'm not an old punk rocker, but god damn it, I know when someone's shitting snake oil down my throat, you know? And to me, that's a snake oil salesman.
At Leo2A7BK said hello.
Hey, Alex.
in Chat. Yep, the fact that people will charge for how do I thread a needle? Get yourself a decent job, as.
Well, not only that, but it's like, oh, here's how to paint glow effects my way. You know, I mean, seriously, there's so much out there that I'm having a lot of trouble not saying something now.
At the Model Student 20 said you have boots for that.
And I wear those boots.
Works said lol. I had a lost part situation working on the Tamiya 148, due 335 feet.
Oh,
The joystick cleaned out of the freezer. At Jeff's Amazing Framework said I am always working on the trains and doing some woodworking. That's my other hobby.
ah, there's R2. It's one of the seat backs. Okay. DC, thank you for the follow. I've noticed I've been getting more follows on Twitch lately, so thank you everybody who's been following there. But yeah, I will not ask for money to teach somebody anything that I do on my channel. You know, no, never. That's wrong. I appreciate when people support the channel, but that's outside of me showing things.
Said I searched the whole room. 3 days later, I found it in the crack in the middle of the table.
We had something like that on the M60. There's a part I thought I dropped, and it turned out it was right here on the table.
At the model, student 20 said no tweezer ping. The worst. Face orange frowning.
Well, I've had a term for that. It's called ping fuck. You know the meme going around about, you know, the golf thing where the guy hits the ball and you hear whack fuck? I call it ping fuck, because, you know, you got the thing in the tweezers, ping fuck. I'm using 80 grit right here on the back of this piece. You're not going to see it. If anything, it'll improve the adhesion when I have to glue it to the turret wall. Yeah, we're building the inside of the turret at the moment. But yeah, I will not ever say, oh, I can charge you $40 to teach you this little thing about how to paint something. I'm not,
Searching for one of the suspension arms when the TACM 148 camper A.
Oofta.
At the model, student 20 said whack fuck rolling on the floor laughing emoji that is me for sure.
Do you have access to a 3D printer, Dragonworks?
At the model, student 20 said I'm part Chinese.
Oh, good lord. Wow, good thing I checked that real quick before I don't think you guys noticed I almost glued a part on upside down there. I don't recall seeing that other part now that I think about it. I'll have to have a look around a little bit, but I'm using what I got to get what I got.
Model student 20 said rolling on the floor laughing emoji got job.
Let's keep the passive racism to a minimum, please. Thank you. Yeah, if you guys ever see somebody trying to sell a technique or something, let me know.
Model student 20 said here Leo, absolutely.
Oh, I know that, Alex, and I appreciate that. And I never demand that people do that. So I know that when you guys do it, it is from the heart, you know? So it makes me appreciate it even more. And like I said, I'll go as far to say if you see somebody out there paywalling content, I don't even want to say content. I fucking hate that term. I don't do this for content. I do this because I do this. But if you see somebody out there just paywalling the shit out of anything, let me know. I'll look it up, at least what they're trying to do. I'll either figure out how to do it myself for free and I'll show you, or if I don't know, if I can't figure it out, I'll give you an online resource where you can learn it for free. But yeah, this trend of paywalling techniques and shit like that, that's got to end. And I know there's probably going to be somebody out there, but that's how I make my living. You should have picked a better job. Sorry. But yeah, Alex hit the nail on the head. I'm trying to make the hobby no bullshit again. I'm trying to get it to where people talk to each other about what they're doing again. And we're not playing these fuck-ass, you know, my technique's better games. Every time I hear somebody doing that, I just immediately go to Matt Damon when it comes to that shit. And I hate to say that because I know Matt Damon himself fucking loves the shit out of the fact that they made him a retard, but... Yeah. The Sprueverse, like I said, Boxman, oh my god, the guy's fucking hilarious. And I like that he traps a bug in each of his models that he builds. Yeah, anybody who's out there for the hobby. Come on.
At the model student 20 said Matt Damon, rolling on the floor laughing emoji.
Oh, he's great. I can't wait till the next video comes out from him. I know he takes a long time between videos, which is a shame. But I can't wait to see his next one. I was going to say, if you have access to a 3D printer, I know you can actually look up Panther A, or Panther in general swing arms. And all you need to do is get the rough dimensions as far as like the length and the width of the one from the kit. And you can print out a swing arm that would match and glue it in. I've got a 16th scale M1A1 from Desert Storm that I've wanted to put a mine roller in forever. I found some 35th scale files and I'm scaling them up and printing that out right now, just so I can put a mine plow on the front of my M60. Not the one I've been working on, but another one that I've had for a while. I really don't think the missing panel is going to be very consequential. Because you see where this is, right? I can't even see it. I can barely see it through the loader's hatch at this angle. The next panel's way up here. I don't really think I'm going to notice that it's not there. This is all just an exercise in fun anyway. I'm still going to look around, make sure I'm not radically missing the piece. But yeah. I'm not going to waste too much effort even on painting this. I'll spray it white, give it kind of a wash, throw in some of the little doodads, but other than that, I'm not going to worry about it too much. Same thing with the driver's couch here. Okay. There is one part that I still need to find, because it goes... now, 84A. A sprue. It's just sad to see that this hobby that was originally... I mean, it's always been kind of a solitary hobby. Don't get me wrong there, right? And I don't think it was originally meant to be anything more than just kind of the way I do it. But it's been twisted into this way of being for some people, and it's really off-putting. I think I've shared this tale in the past, and it's kind of indicative of the mentality of a lot of modelers. Right? Like on the so-called Leopard 2A8, which is more of an A7 with trophy installed. It really hasn't changed the turret's interior volume at all. But it sure as hell made the outside of the turret just as big as the lower hull. What I'm looking for is that. The steering controls. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, something indicative of where the hobby's kind of gone. And it's kind of what made me quit going to the club the first time. And it's a bit of what made me stop going to it the second time as well. First time was years ago. Went to a hobby shop down in Salt Lake. And just, you know, getting usual stuff that I like. Some sci-fi, some normal, you know, modern armor stuff, 72nd scale stuff. And one of the club members was there, and he was there with his wife too. And well, I'm getting to that, Dragon, so bite your tongue. Anyway, so I'm buying the stuff, and one thing I've noticed about this guy is he's one of those people that, you know, for his BF-109, he must have functioning piano hinge on the engine. He made some kind of snide comment, and like I said, his wife was there. Not that I was doing it to impress her or anything, but I couldn't resist just going, you know, not everything has to have a fucking swastika on it when you build it. I paid for my shit and left, and she just had this look on her face like, oh shit. You know, that was great, but it was that mentality that made me stop going to the club. Because it's not about the hobby anymore, it's about how much money can I shove into my build trying to be a perfectionist. Like, everybody who's building there now, it feels like, always adding the 3D printed cockpit details with the 3D printed seat, with the cast resin wheel wells, and it's like, can none of you just build out of the box anymore? You wonder why kids don't want to get into the hobby, and I've said this before too. I'm ranting and repeating myself again. It's because these days the clubs are not a place where people get together to share tips and techniques. They get together to share how big their wallets are, at least here. And I don't know if it's a Utah only thing where it seems like everybody's got to spend tons of money on something only to show it off. The car scene's another thing like that. It's either hugely expensive resto mods. You know, it's always money on display. It's never, oh hey, yeah, it's got a little bit of rust, but it runs, you know. And the hobby's the kind of the same way. It's always the keeping up with the Joneses on how much you can spend. And that's kind of what drove me away from it again. That even the younger guys that come in, I get a lot of them talking to me, and they see that I'm not throwing tons of shit at stuff. It's like if something's 3D printed, I say it's 3D printed, but it's usually something I've done here. It's not an aftermarket accessory I've bought. And I show them the resources. I show them, you know, how to do it. But then 95% of the other guys, it's, oh, none of this kit was good enough, so I replaced 75% of the kit with aftermarket. So is the kit that bad, or are you just that much of a snob? You know, you got to start asking that. And that's what I mean by it's getting harder and harder and harder for me to keep my mouth shut at these people sometimes. You must have just got home and turned your heat on if you're having to do this, Rat Pack. I don't know if anyone else has noticed that trend lately, but I have. And it's put me off because I really...
At the model student 20 said I almost didn't start after going to the model store due to sticker shock of what I thought I was going to need.
And that's just it. You don't need all this extra stuff. You know? You don't need a ton of aftermarket and everything else. Say this Abrams is a Tamiya kit, right? So aside from the kit, which you can now get an Abrams from Tamiya in the $30 to $40 range, which is a little below average, to be honest. Right? And I'm just bottom of the barreling it here. So you would need that, and say you're a beginning modeler. So 40, 48. I'm going on the high side for the glue. I just used the bottle. This is $3.99, so $4. So $44. An X-Acto blade and some blades, another $5, so $49. 3 bottles a jar for paint. If you want to do it, 3-color camouflage. 1, 2, 3, 12. I'm figuring tax here, so you're at about 55 bucks. And whether you're brushing it or airbrushing it, this is enough to get you started on any tank. That's not counting weathering and other things. If you want to build it straight out of the box, outside only, and have it look decent, there you go. You're looking at about 60 bucks.
Second-hand kits. Even sets of paints people bought and never opened for pennies on the dollar.
Okay, I'm gonna restart some music.
At Dragon_Works said model student, I know how you feel. I remember when kits like the Monogram B29 were at $10. Now it's over $100.
You're not entirely wrong there either. But that's part of the problem that we were discussing earlier about certain scalpers, you know, people who know, oh, this is out of production now, so I can ask whatever I want because they saw one person sell one on eBay 3 years ago for that much. I searched around. Do I feel like I needed to pay $250 for it? No. The Cygnus that I got, and I think I got the better deal overall because at the time it had not been announced that it was getting re-released. There was one built, missing pieces, $400, I think it was. There was one unbuilt but open box, and the parts weren't in a bag, so possibly missing pieces. $300. Oh, no worries, Dragon. So $300. That was for a unbuilt open box, open bags. So still possibly missing parts. And then another one, factory sealed box from 1981, 250 bucks. That's how much I paid for my Cygnus. Back in 2022, I think it was 22. May have been earlier, maybe 21. But back in that time, that was a fucking steal for an unopened Cygnus. For a factory sealed USS Cygnus by Ertl, MPC, 250 bucks was a steal. Try and find that now. There's people still selling Vincent kits for 150 bucks even though it's due out this week. Or not this week, but this month. So go on eBay, look up USS Cygnus model kit, and see what the variance is for those kits now. And I'm not talking printed stuff, I'm talking strictly the MPC kit, which you can build it out of the box just fine. Or you can cut it apart and mold apart and fix it like I did. Here, let me see. Yeah, now there's people selling 3D print kits for 570 bucks. So $275 for an open box plastic kit. Can't tell if it's missing parts or not. I don't really trust open box very much. As you saw with this, parts missing. So $275 for an open box. 200. Rougher shape. $275. $350. Is that one sealed or no? It is not. But all these are open box. These are not sealed. So I think I got lucky. I got a sealed one for that much. This, to me, it has nothing to do with wokeness. Alex, I'm guessing that comment was for the not everything needs to have swastikas kind of thing. It's just that's all this guy builds is fucking German shit. You know? It's World War II German shit. And he made some comment about it, and I'm like, yeah, not everything needs a fucking swastika. So it wasn't about being woke. Just... I'm getting really tired of biting my tongue to certain people when it comes to the looky me. Why aren't kids joining the hobby? Well, you make it seem like you have to have $1,000 to build a single model A10. Kits aren't cheap, no. But at the same time, they are 100 times more correct now than they were, say, when the first Monogram A10 was tooled. Which was touted as the kit of the time, you know?
Leo2A7BK said relate to that. My first open box was 1/6 scale master sheet. Not badly done at all, but I would have liked to do it myself.
Right? So, but yeah, I'm just finding it harder and harder and harder to really bite my tongue, and that's why I stopped going to the club again. And I don't know, maybe it's just because the members of my club are unique, but there's a lot of blowing fuck-ups out of proportion, too. Come on, just pop off already. I already scored you. There we go. Who the hell puts the casting lug on that end of the breach on this? Holy shit. And everything I say, even on here, yeah, it's mostly my opinion. You know, everybody can build the models the way they want. But with the caveat that if you're presenting it to somebody else, you present that opinion that, okay, I felt that the detail in this wasn't as good as I would like, so I bought this aftermarket set for it. Not that, oh, this kit is so wrong out of the box that I felt I needed to replace everything because, you know, aftermarket. Let's see here. Well, I haven't gotten up and taken a walk around break in a while.
_works said I shudder to think what prices are going to be in a few years.
That's why I'm not buying the new kits now. I'm letting the market get saturated, I'm letting the shops get full, and I'm waiting till they have to go, fuck, I gotta take $30 off this to sell it. But also my tastes vary from month to month, it seems. One month I'll be doing nothing but sci-fi. Next thing I'll be doing a lot of military stuff. It depends. So this is going to go on the back of the gun, which I'm not building that yet. I just wanted to get that big chunk of shit off there. Where are my seats? My seat assemblies. There you are. R22, 21. And I'm not worried about what the prices are going to be. If I don't want to pay it, I won't pay it. It's not like they're making a lot of kits of new things lately. It's more of what's already out there. So if I want to build an Abrams, I'm not going to spend $100 on a Ryefield kit. I'm going to spend $22 on an Italy kit. You know? Or if I want something a bit more, maybe $40 or $50 on the Dragon kit. A lot of these kits lately are kind of becoming overkill.
7,629 said other than the decals literally expiring, there's no real rush to buy new kits.
No, there really isn't, George. You're not wrong in that. Oh my god, the FOMO is strong out there lately for some things. The main thing is, keep an eye on where the wars are happening and don't buy stuff from the war zones. I know that sounds mean, but I'm not going to buy anything Ukrainian right now, especially if it's selling from the Ukraine, because I don't know if I'm going to get it. If I find it at a US distributor, I'll buy it from them. And it's not that, you know, it's not the whole support the Ukraine thing or not. It's, you know, I'm not going to buy my hobby supplies from an active war zone, which a lot of people seem to be doing right now. And that's driving shipping up for that particular area. God damn it, what am I doing wrong? But yeah, just everything going on right now is forcing people to be a bit smarter on where and how they're buying stuff. Nothing wrong with that. And honestly, Ukrainian prices have never been that great anyway. I bought a lot of stuff years ago from like Ace Models. Yeah, I wasn't impressed with the pricing then. Alex! Thank you very much for that, Alex.
Stupid from Denmark. Tipped $35. Then let's start the new year build up.
Start the new year off on the wrong foot. Got it. No. But I'm going to take a second to take a break once I get these seats installed. Then I'm going to come back and show you, like, to me, what is a... Not that aftermarket is unacceptable, right? Everyone's going to have their own opinion on the hows and whys of what they do. But I'll show you the kind of aftermarket stuff I like to spend my money on, as opposed to the keeping up with the Joneses type stuff, right? Okay, so give me 1 second. We'll take a break and I'll come back with that. I overdid the super glue there, but that's fine. But thank you very much for that, Alex. Ow. Ow. Okay, that gets glued in on those two little nubs right there. Okay. Because I think one of these guys is standing in the hatch anyway. Yeah, the commander is, so I don't have to worry. Yeah, I'm not too worried about the commander's stuff not being too visible, because he's standing in the hatch anyway. Okay. So yeah, what I was worried about with this not being visible, dude's going to be in the hatch anyway, so even if you go like that, you ain't seeing shit. So it's okay that only the loader's hatch is going to be visible. You wouldn't really notice anything anyway. Woohoo! I'll just keep telling myself that.
As always, you are so welcome. Nice.
And if I ever begin to seem unappreciative for whatever means, just let me know, because I might just be having a bad day, but I always do appreciate any kind of support you guys give me. Donations like that do go right back into the channel. One of the more recent examples is the M60 that we're working on, and its crew and accessories. Basically everything in that was available and purchased due to donations. Okay. There we go. So let me take a pause real quick, walk around for a bit. It's been over 2 hours. I need to move. And I'll be right back with a good, clear-cut example of aftermarket making sense to me. And I'll show you. And you, I don't know, you might like it, you might not. So be right back. I am back. So let's set you aside for a minute. Abrams is coming together, but it's being a little sloppy. So, you know, we're doing this for the back to basics build. I'm just using this as an example. This is not going with this LAV. So this kit is actually a couple pretty good examples of why the aftermarket is necessary. Tires, too wide, absolute shit. So you can either buy the AAF ones or you can print your own, which I've done. You guys have all seen that. Actually, I'm gonna just go garbage. So Trumpeter, in their infinite wisdom, decided to make the LAV with open engine bay hatches. Why? Why do this? Why, Trumpeter? A lot of people out there say, oh, it's because they're working with the aftermarket people to make stuff for their kits. It's actually kind of starting to read a little truer than normal.
At Dragon_works said I only buy the aftermarket items. I want to make my model look the way I want it to look.
Exactly, Dragon.
I care less about keeping up with snobbery.
Exactly, and that's kind of how I use it as well. Not so much keeping up with snobbery, but if there's something out there that is just... you can't unsee it wrong, then yeah, by all means, get the aftermarket to make it work. I'm not worried if my Tiger's a millimeter too short, or if my Abrams turret angle is 0.5 degrees of a gnat fart off. But in this case, you know, an interior would be nice. The only LAV kit that I know of that comes with one is the mortar version. So to spice up the mortar version, which has the same open hatch, I got this. And I'm just going to do a quick little test fit here. I already took it out of the packaging and kind of looked through the bits. Not bad. I paid 35 bucks for it. It was the cheapest one I could find. Everybody else wants 45 or more. Tickly nose. You'll have to cut this out because it gets replaced by this, which, you know, just so you can put that in the open position, because they give you most of the engine bay, and it's going to fit in there just like that. But to me, this is also another example of necessary aftermarket. You know, you want to take advantage of something given to you in the kit as far as a feature. It even gives you the new upper shock tower for that. Really well molded, not very expensive. Do you need it to finish the model? No. You can glue it all shut, which this one I'm going to be doing. The one I'm giving that to is the mortar carrier, which will have all of the driver's compartment and the inner mortar bay and everything. So I figured that'll just spice it up, like you were saying. You want it to look the way you want it to look. If this had an interior, then yeah, I'd be doing the open engine bay too, because it's all or nothing with that. An example of, to me, mostly unnecessary is modern aircraft cockpits. I'm not talking like Trumpeter 10 years ago or Revell Monogram from 20 years ago. I'm talking modern. I'm gonna get you one of the most modern ones I have on hand to show you what I mean. Guitar strings, oxygen, yeah, that works. But let me go get something. Been working on this kit for 6 years now. I still haven't finished it. I'm gonna get off my ass one of these months and do it. Mainly because I've just lost the motivation on it. But let me show you. Be right back. There goes my mouse. What? Alright, AMK Models is probably doing some of the best plastic cockpits out there. Tell me that doesn't look and feel right in terms of space, detail, buttons, switches, all that fun shit, right? That just looks right. You don't need aftermarket for that. There's people that'll spend an additional $40 on top of a $70 kit to put aftermarket in there. Same thing with their Kafir, stuff like that. Yeah, this is all out of the box. I didn't add anything to that. That is all out of the box. I think I even have the seatbelts to add still. It's a little dusty, I know. But yeah, it works. I wouldn't replace that for anything. I wouldn't use anything to replace that. I would just keep that as is. I'm gonna put this away. Yeah, for me, aftermarket like that is, how can I put it? If it enhances the model in a way not already present, like adding aftermarket to that cockpit wouldn't really be noticeable, not to the average person. Adding a resin cockpit to the Revell F-15E from 2002, that adds something. That thing's empty. Again, that engine bay, that adds something. It's not because there's a deficiency in the kit, it's literally adding something that is not present. Another example is an F-16 I did. It's an old, ancient Italy D model. So I added the Ares cockpit to it, even though I think it was more for the Hasegawa kit than it was the Italy kit. And I added,
At Dragon underscore works said I always replace rubber band tracks. I hate them. I
No.
always get individual link or link and link.
if it's a kit from the early 80s, I'll agree. Modern? Hell no, I'll stick with them. I've even got an example of that. It's better than factory. Hell, that M60, those tracks are amazing. Okay, I think these have set up enough that we can tackle the other side. I actually know of one situation where the individual link tracks were a worse idea than rubber band. Before we get started on these tracks, I'll even show you. And this is a modern example. Yeah, I traded these to Warduck because I didn't want them. He did. And he had the ones I wanted. Ryfield model for its track links on a Tiger 1. Wants you to assemble, I think it's 5 pieces per link. Yeah, 5 pieces per link, including the end pins, the guide teeth, and the links. To me, that's overkill and unnecessary. Late model Tiger 1 track by Dragon. Open holes there. Open guide teeth. End pin connectors are properly recessed. These are fine. And they're gluable. Most modern rubber tracks are gluable with regular styrene.
At Dragon_works said, "Ew, lost mojo. I hate that. I've lost my mojo on too many kits."
Yeah, you might want to hit refresh, Dragon, catch up a little bit. But yeah, to me, these rubber band tracks beat the shit out of anything Tamiya has made to date. And they're from back in the early 2000s. Burge Tiger will be finished in an unconventional manner. I have a plan for it. Don't know what it is exactly yet, but I have a plan for it. No, I will finish that F-14, just... Yeah, the mojo loss is not so much that, it's just I'm not in aircraft mode right now. At the time I did it, I was in an aircraft mode. Like right now, I'm in modern mode. Pretty soon I'm gonna trade this up for sci-fi or more 3D printed figures or something else. Depends on what my fixation of the week is. Happens all the time on here. You'll know when I'm at the peak of a fixation is if I can get a kit like the M60 or the Cobra and start to finish it in less than a week. And it doesn't look like shit. That's how you know I'm in the groove on a fixation. I think that Cobra was a week from start to total finish. I think it was built and painted in 3 days. And then decals and other finishing took a few more days after that. But that's just how smooth that kit was. Oh my god. Model student, you don't know what you're missing. Build the Cobra. Build it. Put that one aside to see if I'll even need it. I had 4 other tracks left over from the other one. The thing you have to watch out on the Abrams especially, your track geometry is going to be different. Look at your road wheel spacing. These are further forward than these are due to the staggered effect of the torsion bar suspension. So this track run is going to be shorter to here than this one is. But as far as what we were talking about earlier, I don't care if I lose subs and followers because I'm just, yeah, I'm not putting up with crap anymore. I know I've said that before, but this, after last year and a lot of more recent things, it's just made it that much more apparent to me. I'm done dealing with crap. Trying to not get those crowded, but they're wanting to crowd themselves. Okay, and then for the sprocket, I need 7 again. Yeah, we're building this one old school. Just because I feel like being a dick. Anyway. And I really don't feel like dealing with nipping and nipping and nipping and nipping. Just have to clean it up again anyway. This X-Acto blade's already screwed. I don't know what it is about this mix that we're listening to right now. It came out on New Year's Eve. But honestly, it's one of the better ones that Evil Sound has made. I don't know what their process is, but I like it. Yeah, but if anyone out there is having latency issues, hit refresh. That should catch you up a little bit and shorten that time lag.
good figures for the 132nd USS Enterprise bridge kit?
I could have sworn that when they re-released that, they retooled the figures to actually have better likeness and better posing. That's not one where they just straight up repopped it. They retooled better figures for it. Kind of like how they did the new shuttle Galileo. Alright, no worries, model student. Be sure you refresh when you get back, because chances are the latency will build back up by then. It always does. I almost did a stupid there. I just wanted to give these a bit more time because I knew I was going to be setting the tank on them and I didn't want them collapsing or screwing up even more on me. That burp didn't come out right. Came out kind of sideways. Yeah, if your bridge kit is the newer re-release, I could have sworn I read that they had redone the figures on it to be more correct. But I don't know when my next full stream day will be. I don't know if it'll be next Sunday or next Monday, or Sunday and Monday. I don't know what my next days off are. So I will do my best to try and get one in probably Wednesday, Thursday time frame. I can't guarantee anything because having a real job just kind of takes the energy out of you.
George Davis 7629 said, "How's the build going, builders?"
It's going. Again, dangers of buying used kits. We're missing the commander's portion of all this stuff, or the gunner's portion. So we have the sight and everything, but when everything's together and the hatches are on, commander's going to be standing in this hatch anyway with the figures that I've got, so you're not going to notice that it's missing anyway. But them's the breaks of buying used kits. I'm already going to have to scratch build part of the commander's hatch mechanism, but that's no big deal. Why am I getting, like, Evangelion angel sounds from that? The big diamond one that screamed. I am looking forward to doing...
Dragon_works said I got the new bridge kit, and those figures look nothing like the cast members.
You should see the original ones. I think if you go to Cult TV Man, there is a replacement set that was made. He may carry it, but I can't guarantee anything. I glued that on the wrong half. I think it was Green Strawberry that made a replacement crew set. Don't be afraid to get a bit happy with the glue on link and length, especially if you're going to be making them fugly with mud later. Okay, you can set there because you're going up here. Let's you set up for a minute more. I am not taking the M1 build seriously at all. Like, the M60 I took seriously. Like, that was a good kit. This, I'm kind of not. I'm not going to be, like, shit about it in terms of, like, the paint and everything. So I just wonder how it's going to turn out compared to the M60. Maybe use it as an example of you don't need the $90 kit to have the $90 kit results.
At Dragon_works said also, I have an older edition Enterprise bridge that I want to give to my oldest, and I want to get good figures to fill it up.
Yeah, either Starship Modeler or Cult TV Man would be your best bet to find figures in one of their stores, if they still exist. It's been a while since that kit was re-released, so chances of finding it are slim to none. It's possible there might be something on CG Trader and you could hire out to one of the printing services. I don't offer that as a service personally because I have been bit before because of it. So I no longer do that. I have their Galileo shuttle with all the figures I've got to get back to. I've got the lighting on the interior sorted out. I'm still looking for a compromise on the exterior. I've also been researching a little bit into doing forced perspective dioramas because for Christmas, Aries sent me something that I think the best way to take advantage of it would be some form of forced perspective shadow box. Now that I've looked at it and I've seen its benefits and limitations. All of you line up finally. Yep. Let that set for a minute. Did you ever notice what's behind me over here, Dragon? Actually, I'm just going to glue this right on right now.
Papa Goofy said no single link chat. so fun, lol.
No, these are link in length.
Papa Dookie said look amazing.
How you doing, Papa Dookie?
Times.
They look really good on older, like, KV1s and stuff where you can have a lot of sag in them. Modern tanks, rubber bands are actually better because they're not supposed to sag too much between the road wheels and return rollers. They're more of a live track where older tanks have dead track. How have you been? You know, if Jaeger's been on lately, I haven't seen him around much. I haven't been on, outside of my own streams, I haven't been on much myself either. Come on, set up a bit more. Getting impatient with the Abrams tracks.
At Dragon_works said which M60 kit did you build? I managed to get both the Tacom and AFV Club M6083 kits, and I have the 30-year-old Eshi as well. Papa Dookie said he split his stream into modeling midweek and gaming on other not meant to talk about stream on weekends.
Oh, gotcha.
Leo2A7BK said saw a video of the Leopard 2A8. Deal 570 tracks, but they talked about 571 tracks. Don't know if the big BF varies.
The main difference I've seen in some of the Leopard track
116. Yep.
is there's one that's more conventional that goes around the sprocket like this, and then there's another one where, for example, where the sprocket goes is completely encased. Those are the only two different Leopard tracks I know for the Leopard 2 series. Dragonworks, I built the AFV Club, not AFV Club, Tacom kit, which puts the AFV Club one to shame. Or the Academy one, or the Tamiya one. Academies are okay. They still rely on the old hull, which had the motorization options. And they have the driver's periscope in the wrong spot. And what's not meant to talk about? Oh, probably political. Probably because it's less prone to track hopping, supposedly. Those are the only two different, real different track models I know for the Leopard. Okay, let me do some sleuthing here. Yeah. I'm sure there's probably some minor differences in the track that modern people like us or, you know, non-military now wouldn't really catch on to. Like you said, it's probably a different material compound, however you want to put it.
Papa Dookie said a kid's shoebox and construction paper model almost put Tamiya to shame on details for a lot of things.
I wouldn't be that mean to Tamiya, but yeah. Part of me does want to do an original IPM one from '86, with the 105 millimeter on it. Just so... Really? Come on, don't do this to me. There we go. Okay. I don't want to start the next family of models that I'm building. It'd just be neat to do an early 105 armed Abrams, because you never really see them too often. But yeah, if you're dead set on making an M60, the TACOM kit will answer all your prayers. And that's if you want to spend the money. Next would be AFE Club. They got more right than wrong.
Said no, I can't see it. I'm on my phone.
What now? Can't see what? Alright. There we go. We've reached our time limit for today, though. We're just over 3 hours. I need to let a lot of stuff dry. Midweek would probably be M60 crew painting. It really depends on what I feel like doing and how I'm feeling after work. I'm going to aim for one about Wednesday, Thursday time. But thanks again to everybody who's been here and all the support. Nice, yeah.
Looking over the green zone, watching the guys in the dirt.
But yeah, this week some point I am going to gather the other remaining materials and do a video on a comprehensive list for those who want to participate in the basic build, the back to basics build. So I'll try and get that up by Friday. That'll give you time before February to kind of gather together local equivalents. Won't be anything terribly expensive, and it should be usable on any kit, really, as far as how we're doing it and what we're doing. But yeah, I'll try and get a stream going probably around Wednesday or Thursday. And by Friday or Saturday, I'll have that the more comprehensive video going on the basics build. So probably expect that to start first week, maybe second week February, depending on time. And once we go from there, we'll get started. But thanks again, everybody, for watching. If you've subbed on YouTube, thank you very much. We've gained, I think, 10 subs in the past 5 days, which is great. Again, thank you for all the follows on Twitch as well. We've gained quite a few more of those recently. More than the usual amount has been. So again, thank you there. Thanks to Leo too for the donation that helps get things on the channel like this model and the M60. And just helps keep things going with supplies and subjects and things like that. So thank you all again for watching and all your support. And I will hopefully see you Wednesday or Thursday. So have a good day.